Today I'm hanging out with my buddy Eric Wade.
You're watching the Branham Show. Yeah.
We've got a camera here, a camera here, camera here, a camera here.
Got some really cool things happening there. That
Vaguely cool.
really
Not cool at all. Not cool at all.
really
actually.
cool.
We were in a band together though, and we were. I mean, we did some cool stuff, and it feels weird to brag on it, but I think the fact that we have to brag on ourselves means that nobody that will watch this will have heard of us, outside of like 14 or 15 people that might just know us both from those days. But back then, though, legitimately, we did some cool stuff. Like it was a big deal for a small town. Like we did things that we shouldn't have been able to do. Like God's favor was on what we did. I think you could put it that way.
We got to open with bands that, like, their posters are up in like our practice place. Like, these are bands that we looked up to that was like a big deal, and to be able to share the stage with them was a big milestone. There were so many bands that were from that area that they were like wondering, like, how come you guys are getting a call to come open for some of these bands that we all love?
And they were right in the
They were
backyard.
like in the backyard. So
One thing in the ministry world that we talk about is that an expert is anybody that lives more than 30 miles away. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it could be that we were getting some of those opportunities because we weren't from around the block. Y'all had a band called Felix. Was there anything that predated Felix? I mean, I know we had a pretend band that we called with the best band name called Vagabond Stove.
Vagabond Stove.
But there, I don't think we ever wrote any music.
No.
But outside of that, the real music started when y'all formed Felix.
Yeah, we wrote some songs. We recorded them. We had a few different. Well, it was the same lineup, but I started out playing guitar and singing, and then I decided I just wanted to play guitar. So the lead guitarist switched to singing, which really led to us introducing you to the band, which is really one of the coolest things. Is that you would come watch us practice, and then we had a gig. To where the singer didn't show up, but Brad was there.
Shout out Barry, because we still love him.
Still love him.
We still love him.
And Brad was there, and he knew pretty much the melodies of a lot of the songs that we had done.
Didn't really know the words,
But he just grabbed the mic, and it was like pretty much. I mean, it was
like something out of a movie. It's like, I got it, bro. Let me do it. So I just.
And it turned out to be a blast. And then from that point on, it was like, okay, you're our front man.
He's being very kind, because what he's really saying is when our first choice failed us, we let you in the band. I think that's what you should hear.
It was a good feel, man. It felt like a perfect fit. So.
We got to be in a magazine.
That was a big thing, and like it's weird to mention that first, because that's like it might be one of the biggest milestones. And we didn't think of it that much at the time, but looking back, like that's one of the things that really it's lasted. Like you can go, it's documented. It's
you can
there.
go and see it. That's
it's
right.
there. It's in the HM magazine,
Hard Music Magazine, still around.
December of 2001 issue, I believe it was. And we're on there with some pretty notable bands.
Reliant K was on that issue.
Was on there.
The Weird Al Yankovic of the Christian World, Apologetics. They were on that album,
and it's it's a documented
Slick Shoes
thing.
may have been on
Slick
that
Shoes
album.
was definitely if they weren't on the album, they had a big thing in that issue. So Tim came in, and it was kind of different having another guitar in the band, but it really filled out what we were trying to do musically, because so much of what we were listening to involved two guitars, and it was at a perfect timing of the switch, no pun intended, right? Yeah.
You and him worked so well together. You had amazing chemistry, and our early songwriting had been you and I.
Yeah.
You would play whatever it was on the acoustic guitar, and I would come up with some sort of vocal melody. And then it really, I think, when he came in, shifted more to the two of you would come up with something really amazing, and I would be like, okay, now how do I not mess this up? You know. We had some limited radio play. I never heard us on the radio, but that's what I was told. We were apparently a part of various artist conversations backstage at the Dove Awards one year, which to me that's like a really stinking big deal.
That's a big
these guys
deal.
are winning awards.
It's one of those things where we knew it was special at the time, but you really couldn't realistically wrap your head around how special it was. I mean, until life passes by and you move on. Like looking back now, it's like, I mean, we did things that that a very small percentage of people were laughing because there's somebody walking around the window or in front of this big window. This guy's just watching us look at a window and talk. So
after that season, we did a couple tours together. Alan and I quit the band. You guys kept it going for a little while.
we tried. It wasn't possible.
Tim went on to be in various bands, including the All American Rejects.
Yeah.
And I remember when they were on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And he called me that day, and they were going to be on the Tonight Show, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna get to meet Letterman tonight. I'm gonna shake his hand." I was like, "Dude, you're living the dream, bro."
When he stopped touring with All American Rejects, he joined a band called Jonesetta that was signed with Tooth and Nail Records, and actually they had not yet signed with Tooth and Nail Records, and so to hear them tell the story, they were just a few younger guys getting together. Really didn't think they were that good at all, and then Tim comes in and they looked at Tim like he was just this which is odd because Tim came to us kind of
feeling the same way. Yeah.
And so once Tim joined the band with all of his experience at that point, like that really, like he sat down with them and kind of schooled them, and they turned into this pretty awesome Tooth and Nail band.
He was our friend, man. He was our brother. You know, we talk about when you're in a band, it's like your family. You know, your friends, but you know, you get closer than that. It's a special thing. And in 2005, we got to watch what we say so that we don't get banned on social media. But let's just say he's not with us anymore. And it was a blow, man. Not just to us, but to a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's so many things in my life where I look back and I'm like, okay, this happened to help prick my heart, to help inspire me, to help push me in the direction of helping men. And when I look back, you know, Tim and that whole episode is a big part of it. Being on the side of it where we're with him before everything. And then afterwards, and it's like, what could I have done? Like, is there anything I could have done? And realistically, there's probably not.
No, and I think we all asked ourselves that question. Everybody that knew him, I'm sure, probably asked that question. You know, we're where we are now, and so it's almost like there's still a part of Tim, because he helped shape our lives, living out in the things that we're involved in. And that's not, I don't want to make too big of a thing, but just to say, you know, it could be the same with a deceased parent, a deceased sibling, any kind of person you were close to, when they're no longer with you. I feel like it adds to your life. I don't know if you're the same way as me.
Absolutely.
But it adds to your life a bit of motivation to accomplish and live a little bit more on their behalf than you otherwise maybe would have. Your audience already knows this, but tell my audience what you're doing with Mountain Men, how you got started, and what you hope to accomplish. That's a pretty wide-ranging question.
It is. So I've been working with men now for, oh goodness, going on 10 years, working with men, and the majority of that time has been in a recovery setting. And there were, many of you are familiar with Celebrate Recovery. I was very heavily involved in that ministry, led that ministry, which transitioned into a new ministry called Forever Free, also a really cool ministry. And then in the middle of that, we started this church plant, Hello Church, in Wynne, Arkansas. And I was doing both, where I would lead the men's ministry in the evening, and then I would actually lead worship here at Hello Church in the morning. So it was a pretty big commute. I lived 2 hours away from both, and so I would drive 2 hours to lead worship and win, and then I would go to a different town an hour away to where I would lead the men's ministry, and then I would go back home. So Sunday has always been a pretty busy day. So I juggled both for about a year, and then I really felt like there was something in me saying, hey, let's start a men's ministry at Hello Church. What exactly that looked like, I didn't know. I did not want it to be a full-blown recovery type ministry, because what I have noticed in the recovery world is that there's somewhat of a stigma that comes with the name Celebrate Recovery or some type of recovery, that
If I don't struggle specifically with drugs or with whatever, some sort of addiction that comes to the forefront of your mind, then that's not for me.
That's not for me. You have a lot of men in the congregation that will say things like, man, I'm so glad we have Celebrate Recovery here in our church for those folks. Like, that's awesome that we have that. It's not for me, but it's awesome that we have that. Those men miss out on heavy work that they will never touch if they don't get into a circle that has a lot of the elements of a recovery type circle. So I can tell some of our guys are new to that. I love it because, and again, anonymity is a lot of it, so I'm not going to put a lot of stuff out there, but I love watching the growth with men that come into the circle that it's kind of new to them. They're not sure what to think. That's a man thing.
I love everything that's happening here locally with what's happening, how this particular arm, if you will, of Mountain Men, because it's grown into so much more, but how this particular arm, it has developed and how it is blessing lives. It's blessing my life every week. And the biggest blessing as a pastor is just watching the Lord work in and through you and in the lives of these men, and watching light bulbs come on, watching them open up more, sharing unbelievable wisdom. You all have a chapter, if you will, on another continent now.
Yeah.
But tell us about that. That's pretty big, man.
Yeah, we've launched a Mountain Men Zambia, which is like, I never would have put that on the bingo card for 2026. A connection that I'd made just out of the blue. Somebody had caught some of the videos, reached out, and was very interested in how they could start a Mountain Men chapter in Zambia. And we had several meetings before we really knew what that would look like. It was a little, in my mind, a little further down the road than what I was prepared to do. I just put out the book Unmasked. I just finished the workbook. I just finished the videos, but so much of that would not be available to most of the men in Zambia. So it's like, how do I get this to the hands of the men in Zambia? So we finally mapped out what that would look like. This guy that I've connected with, is the word that comes to mind is soldier. Like, he pushes through.
He's very motivated. He's found his why, if you will.
He's found his why, and I mean, he has traveled miles and miles and miles to surrounding communities to gather men and get their interest in mountain men. And so we're in the process of getting the materials to them. I've let up some of the licensing that I was, at the beginning I was holding pretty strong to, but I've got to take a step back and say, if I truly want this to be bigger than anything that I can do on my own, I've got to say, you know what, let this thing grow, and just whoever needs to get into this circle, let's get them in there, and we'll figure the rest out later. So just excited they've had a few meetings. He sent me some pictures of the men that are just excited. They look like it's Christmas morning, man, and they're just
that's cool. I'd like to see those.
Absolutely. Hopefully someday I'd like to get over there and spend some time with them, and that's definitely on the to-do list.
And here locally, you have the Ridge Collective, which is a new effort that you're doing to draw more people in that within, I think, Arkansas or the United States. This is an opportunity, if they don't live directly right by you or here in Wynn, to take part in this group. that they can plug into that. Tell us what that's all about.
Yeah, Ridge Collective. It's a lot like what we do here on Sundays, but it's more to the public. So on Tuesdays, it's for men to sign on virtually and dig into a lot of the stuff that we dig into on Sundays. Not everybody from the outside virtual world is from the church world.
Sure,
so
yeah.
we don't
Which is actually, I love that about what you're doing.
And so the content is there, but it's not necessarily, we get straight to the word here, and what we feel like God is calling us to do. A lot of that language is not there, but the message is there.
I think that there are a lot of pastors who they love their folks. They're tired. They're bivocational. They don't have a whole lot of opportunity to pour themselves into things, and to have a ready-made resource that they can plug into that they know has a proven track record of helping people to love God, to love people, and just to love life.
Yeah.
Is something that I believe a lot of people would have interest in. So
I've had some really strong conversations with some pastors and some men's ministry leaders that are feeling optimistic, and I think once we get those first few on board and they start to see the success and the transformation that's taking place, the leaders that are coming out of those groups, because that's what's going to happen. You get men involved in these groups, they're going to have more meaning, more purpose. They're going to step up and be more leaders in the church. And when we start to see more of that, then
anytime you make an investment in the men of your church, you're making an investment in your church.
Absolutely.
100%. People don't wake up and just decide, I'm just going to be a jerk to people today.
Right.
I'm just going to destroy my family today. I'm just going to enslave myself to a substance today. I'm just going to wander through life aimlessly today, or this week, or this year, like I did last year. You get into those patterns unintentionally, and there's so much more built into why you make it there. And so getting out of it, just like the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, it takes intentionality, and it takes work, and it takes vulnerability, and there's not just a whole lot of people that are willing to put that in. But I do feel as if those that are watching, hopefully by now, they have gotten an itch for that, and they felt like, man, this is something I could benefit from. And if that's the case, I wonder how they might find out more about Mountain Men, the work that you're doing, and how to get in on some of these things.
Absolutely. So the first place would probably, the easiest would be mountainmen.life. At mountainmen.life, I've got all the links to the socials on there. I've got some workshops on there that you can reach out to me for, but if you email me, we've got some better options that are more updated. So if you go to mountainmen.life, you'll find a way to contact me. You can email me at ericwaynewade@mountainmen.life. That'll get the ball rolling and us getting connected. We can get you plugged into the Ridge Collective. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and of course, we're also on YouTube. So,
well, thank you for letting me hang out with you today.
Thanks for hanging with me,
Mountain Men, and you are my brother, and you help me on a regular basis to be more of the man that God created me to be. And I value you and your friendship, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to benefit from all the things that you're teaching and leading us through. And I appreciate you being on the Branham show. I still am not sure how the editing's going to go with 2 cameras and all that we've done, but we're gonna patch this thing together, because I think these are 2 audiences that probably need to get to know one another.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree. Man, thank you for having me in your world. I mean, there were some years where it was kind of like we might text each other on happy birthdays or things like that, and I didn't envision us being as close and intertwined in each other's lives like we are now at this stage again, and I'm loving every minute of it.
The Branham Show! The Branham Show! The Branham Show!
Brad's like my best friend in the whole world, and and we were in a band, yeah, but you know, we're doing all this other cool stuff together, and it's clear that our relationship means more to me, Brad, than it does to you. That was the vibe that I was
I didn't
getting
get that
right
at all. I didn't get that at all.
there.